Okay, our topic for today is cri- criteria for selecting high quality data sources. And then we'll go to the next topic on epidemiological sources for population health data. So una, titingnan muna natin, ano ba yung mga high quality data sources na pwede nating kunin. So ano muna yung criteria for selecting high quality data sources? Una, reliability. Under reliability, it should be consistent, it should be accurate, and it should be precise. So, pagka sinabi natin consistent, the results kahit 20 years old na siya o 20 years old na siya, 20 or 30 years old na yung data, ano pa rin, totoo pa rin. Also, if you look at this data in different sites or places, kunyari sa US, under ng CDC, o kaya under ng WHO, or sa Philippines ng DOH, pareho pa rin yung result. Accurate. The data should be free from errors or biases. Pag sinabi mo accurate, on the dot, hits the target. Pag precision naman, it should be precise. The results are closely bundled together. So, ang maganda, it is accurate and it is precise. Pag precise lang pero hindi accurate, hindi rin reliable yon. Kasi he is bundled together pero consistently na mali. Pakita ko sa inyo itong diagram na to. So, yung unang diagram, yung nasa uh, upper left-hand corner, sabi dyan, low accuracy and low precision. So, tinatarget niya na hit nga niya yung isang dot na hit yung bullseye, pero parang random yung pagkakalagay ng mga, ng mga dots. Yung sa baba naman nun, sabi dyan, high accuracy pero low precision. Kumbaga, nahihit niya yung bullseye, pero paminsan-minsan namamali siya. Kumbaga, lumilias. Okay? Yun naman sa upper right-hand corner, low accuracy, high precision, hindi niya na-hit yung target. Pero, dikit-dikit yung ano niya, yung results niya. Ibig sabihin, consistent siya, pero consistently mali. So, lagi nandun yung sagot niya, consistent, pero mali yung answer niya. And, ang gusto natin is high accuracy and high precision. So, sa baba nun, all targets are hit. Ibig sabihin, the data is correct. And yung precision niya, consistent for every test na ginagawa niya uh, on the correct answer, yung correct result yung binibigay niya. Next slide. Another criteria aside from reliability is validity. So valid ba to internally? The study design should be sound and minimize confounding factors. Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. Ano ba yung confounding factors? So internally, it's valid. Kumbaga, within that organization, valid yung data. So na-verify nila. Also, valid to externally. The findings uh, should be generalized to the broader population. Kung yung data na to ay in-apply mo sa broader population, makaka-relate pa rin sila. Kumbaga, uh, pag sinabi mo, itong example, ang example nito is, uh, ang COVID-19, ang symptoms niya ay meron siyang fever, meron siyang nawawala yung pang-amoy, nawawala yung panlasa. So pag dinala mo ba siya sa general population, pagka may COVID case, ganun din ang mga symptoms o sa amin hindi ganyan. Sa amin hindi nawawala yung pang-amoy. Sa amin hindi nawawala yung panlasa. So is it the data should be valid. Okay, so external applies to the general population. Next, ano ba yung mga confounding factors. Confounding factors are variables that can influence the relationship between an exposure and an outcome. So ito yung mga variables na nakaka-influence dun sa outcome. Example dito sa diagram natin. Smoking ang exposure. So kapag prolonged exposure ka sa smoking, nagkakaroon ng outcome na lung cancer. However, older individuals may be more likely to have both a certain exposure and a particular outcome. Kumbaga, uh, age could confound the relationship between smoking and lung cancer. Maaari kasi na habang ikaw ay tumatanda, marami kang yung nagiging exposure sa hindi lang sa cigarette smoking, kundi sa environmental smoke. Tapos, yung probability mo na magkaroon ng lung cancer ay nagiging increased din. Kaya parang yung old age nagiging confounder. Pero pag titignan mo in terms of uh, cause and effect, yung mas malaki pa rin yung effect ng smoking that would lead to lung cancer. So, yung iba tinatanggal yung mga confounders para masabi nila na valid. Yung age, maaring ano lang siya, parang nadamay lang tawag nila. Yung mga incidental na mga suspects. Kumbaga nandun siya, kita siya, observe na karamihan na nagkakalang cancer, medyo matatanda na. Although, makikita mo na may mga nagkakalang cancer na mga bata pa. And makikita na smoking exposure, yun yung nagiging cause ng lung cancer nila. Okay. Okay. Mamaya kung may tanong kayo, we will pause this presentation. Next. Another criteria is representativeness. Example, yung general population. So, kukuha ka randomly ng i-interviewin. The sample should be a representative of the target population. So, randomly mo siya kinuha and spread out mo siya kinuha. Tapos, yung response rate. So, sa lahat ba ng na-select mo, lahat sila nag-respond. So, kapag mataas yung response rate, tapos yung sampling mo is adequate and randomized, so it is a representative. So, magandang quality yun ng data source. Another criteria for selecting high-quality data sources is timeliness. Is the data up to date? Relevant pa ba siya sa research question? Diba nag-iiba-iba na yung panahon. So, may mga data pag nakikita mo, 1990 pa yan, 2000 pa yan. Parang, hindi na yan relevant ngayon kasi ang dami na nagbago nung naging COVID, ang dami na naging aware pagdating sa pandemic. Kaya, relevant pa ba yan? Tapos, relevant pa ba yan ngayon na halos lahat ng data is available sa internet. So, isang search mo lang ganun. Lalabas na kagad yung hinahanap mo. And at the same time, may maghahanap pa para sa'yo by using AI, artificial intelligence. So, timeliness, relevance. Okay. And next is completeness. May mga missing data ba? May mga hindi ba natanong or hindi included sa study na ginagawa ko? The data should have minimal missing values. Kung meron mang missing, pwede bang ma-omit o kaya makapag-adjust yung study? Okay, completeness. So, are the missing data, are they tolerable? Kaya nating tanggapin na missing sila and yet proceed with the study. Okay. And next, accessibility. Pagdating sa accessibility, is the data available? And is it easy to use? User-friendly ba? Meron bang cost? Mapapagastos ba tayo? Okay. And yung ngayon kasi is the era of data. So data is even more valuable than gold. So meron ng metadata. Nadinig niyo na ba itong before metadata? It is the data of the data. Kumbaga, as you collect data, as you accumulate data, nakaklassify mo siya and nalalabelan mo yung data. Nag-group mo siya. So the data should be well documented uh, with metadata that describes its content, its um, context, its source, and its limitations. So, yun yung meron itong data ba na to, may structure ba to, anong content nito. Tapos isang description to ng data. Where is it coming from and what does it mean? Example, file metadata, meron ba tong file name, size, creation, file type, may database, ano yung tables, ano yung relationships about the elements. Yan, mga example ng metadata. So, ano yung para sa metadata? It is for organizing, storing, and retrieving data efficiently. Kaya, para magkaroon ka ng accuracy, consistency, and completeness. Ngayon, kasi habang padami ng data, mas lalo parang nakaka-confuse, no? Parang mas nakakalito pa dahil sa dami. Kaysa dati na konti pa lang. Pero habang dumadami siya, we should be able to organize and store it properly, yung data collected. And is the data be friendly enough to be used by another system pagdating sa interoperability ba niya? Yeah. Okay, so documentation. Important. Okay. Okay, we will have a health break for 10 minutes. Okay, punta naman tayo sa epidemiological sources for population health data. So, dalawang klase yan, primary data sources and secondary data sources. So, primary data sources is kinuha yan ng health office, pwede yung city, pwedeng municipal, provincial, or regional, or central, central. Pag provincial health office, ipapasa siya sa Region 3 DOH, tapos Region 3 DOH ipapasa sa central office ng DOH. So, surveillance systems. These systems collect data on the occurrence of diseases through reporting by healthcare providers, laboratories, and other sources. Example include may passive surveillance, ibig sabihin ito, naghihintay lang sila ng darating na report. So, pag may na-admit sa hospital na rabies, i-enter ng clerk ng hospital, may rabies admission kami, diagnosis, confirm, isasend, mano-notify ngayon yung City Health Office. Okay, reports are submitted voluntarily by healthcare providers from hospitals, RHUs, and clinics. So, kahit yung mga clinic sa outpatient, nagbibigay din ng report sa sa city. And may active surveillance. Yung mismong health department actively seek out cases through surveys, interviews, and epidemiological methods. So, active surveillance. Sila mismo lumalabas. Chine-check nila, lalo-lalo na ng COVID, kapag may report, meron din, may symptoms dito, pinupuntahan nila sa bahay. Another type of primary data sources are epidemic investigations, kagaya na nangyari sa COVID. These investigations involve detailed studies of outbreaks or clusters of disease to identify the source, mode of transmission, and the risk factors. So, ini-study nila, lalong-lalo kung bago itong sakit nito. Example, yung monkeypox. Saan ba nanggaling? Paano siya nakakahawa? Mode of transmission. And ano yung risk factors? Meron ba certain behavior na mas mahawa siya? Okay. Clinical records. Lalo na ngayon, meron ng electronic medical records. These can provide information about patients, demographics, symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment. Lalo na pagka may mga nagre-register sila sa telemedicine. So, nag-i-input din ng data doon sa Google Form. So, nakaka-collect ngayon ng clinical records. Laboratory data, yung mga result from laboratories, pag may nagpa-positive, on their record, ilan yung nag-positive, send sa City Health Office. Okay. Tapos meron din secondary data, gaya ng census data, so kagaya na nag-census, makukuha dyan yung population information such as age, sex, race, socioeconomic status, saka at-risk groups, vital statistics, data on births, ilan yung pinanganak, deaths, marriages, divorces, can provide information about population dynamics and disease burden. Dito sa atin walang divorce. Ang meron sa atin dito sa ngayon is um, annulment. Pero sabi nila, yung divorce law daw, nasa horizon na, malapit na. Marami na rin naghihintay sa divorce law. Okay. Ewan ko kung agree kayo with that. Meron ding health surveys, kagaya yung topic natin, yung CHNAs, surveys that collect information about health behaviors, risk factors, disease prevalence can be valuable sources of data. And meron ding administrative data, data from health insurance, from PhilHealth, uh, hospital discharge records. Okay, administrative sources can be used to study disease patterns and healthcare utilization para sa financing ng hospital. Anong mga cases ba yung mostly na na-admit? So, dapat dagdagan natin yung mga gamot na mag-treat para doon sa mga cases na yon. So, administrative data. Geographic information systems can be used to map the distribution of diseases and identify geographic risk factors. Kagaya ng, kunyari, pag elevated yung isang area, so prone to landslide. Pagka low-lying naman, prone to flooding. Tapos meron ding earthquake map. So, example, pag titingnan nyo sa internet, makikita nyo to yung GIS database ng Balanga. So, dinevelop to ng SRDP Group. Tapos, present nila sa City of Balanga. So, dito sa leftmost square, yan yung elevation. So, yung light blue, uh, yun yung mga low-lying. Tapos yung dark blue, yun naman yung mountain areas. Yung gitna naman is businesses. Ano yung mga businesses na saan sila located? So, mostly along Capitol Drive, tapos area ng Plaza, tapos papunta sa Tenjero. Nandun yung businesses. Asan naman yung mga built na structures? Dito naman sa right. So, yan ang use ng GIS. So, don't be a victim of inaccurate data or sabi nga natin is fake news. To avoid inaccurate data, it is important to verify the sources. Check on the credibility of the website or the source. Sino ba yung author? Si Anonymous ba? Are they presenting an opinion based on a fact? So minsan dapat careful tayo dyan. Or is this fact? Nire-report lang ba nila fact? So look for citations. So saan nila kinuha yung evidence? Saan nila meron ba itong study? Saan yung source nila? And compare information. Cross-reference information from multiple sources. Does it appear on separate, independent, unrelated sites? Example, merong occurrence na may nasusunog na area. Ito ba ay nag-a-appear din sa news? O bakit wala sa news? So, ano ka na nun, no? Or merong minsan nag-post, nasisira na daw yung tulay sa may crossing sa may Pampanga. Pagtingin ko, oh, hindi naman nag-a-appear sa Pampanga News. Tapos, meron pa nga nag-appear na article na hindi yung bridge na yun ang tinutukoy. So, yung picture is iba dun sa actual bridge na sinasabi niyang nasa danger na of collapsing. So, compare information. Tignan nyo, cross-reference nyo siya. Next, beware of biases. Be mindful of potential biases, lalo na sa content. Are the writer being paid to promote a product or a belief? Nangyari na to, no, dun sa to the point na ginamit nila yung social media para i-promote yung belief na si Trump is the better leader compared dun kay Hillary Clinton. So, talagang dinaw nila yung isang candidate tapos inap naman yung the other candidate through social media. So, beware of biases. Kaya tuloy yung nakakabasa na naging bias din. We will take another break. Okay, tuloy natin. Next, we will study the epidemiological criteria, a framework for studying disease. So, epidemiological criteria are the standards used to define and classify cases of a particular disease, condition, or health event. These criteria are essential for accurate disease surveillance, outbreak investigation, and development of effective public health interventions. What are key components of epidemiological criteria? Una is a clinical criteria. Pag sinabing clinical criteria, ito yung signs and symptoms of a particular person. So, example nito, meron ba siyang fever, meron bang ubo, sipon, okay, yun yung mga signs and symptoms. Namumula ba siya? Ayan. Ano ba yung mga bukol sa katawan niya? Saan tumutubo? Ano yung mga rashes na lumalabas? So, yun ang clinical criteria. Epidemiological criteria, these refer to the factors related to time, place, and person. Also, yung kanyang host factors that are associated with the disease. For instance, meron ba siyang exposure? And meron ba travel history or contact with a confirmed case? And laboratory criteria. These are the specific laboratory tests, procedures that can confirm the diagnosis. So may diagnosis na, ang laboratory is to confirm. Okay. Anong purpose? Bakit merong epidemiological criteria? For standardization. This ensures the consistency in the classification of cases across different settings and time periods. So, pag naset na yung epidemiological criteria for this disease, so nakaset na yon, uh, hindi nagbabago yon kahit saang bansa ka pumunta or kung anong time period ka, kung 1940s ba yon o 1960s. Kapag sinabi mong hepatitis A yan. Okay. Next, sensitivity and specificity. Para tong yung accuracy. Okay. Pagka sinabing sensitive, uh, it can detect the true cases. So pag sensitive ang isang test, diba, pag nag-positive ka sa test na yon, meron ka nung sakit na yon. Example, positive ka sa uh, test ba yon? Dengue dot. Dengue. Pagka tinest ka doon, oh, positive dengue dot, ibig sabihin meron kang dengue. Pagka sinabi namang uh, ibig sabihin nun sensitive siya. Pagka tinest ka doon sa particular test na to, dengue dot, nag-positive ka, sensitive siya, at meron kang dengue. However, minsan, nagpa-positive naman itong test na to, kunyari, CBC, maraming infection. Pero wala namang infection na nangyayari. So, yung specificity niya Pagka siya naman ay nag-positive, tapos wala kang sakit noon, so mababa yung pagka-specific niya. Tapos pag nag-negative naman siya, kapag mataas yung specificity niya, ibig sabihin, ah, yung naka-classify niya pag hindi to, kunyari, appendicitis, ah, WBC sa dugo. Kapag ka nag-positive ka sa WBC, ah, ibig sabihin may appendicitis ka. Hindi. Kasi non-specific yun. Ah, i-combine mo siya with other factors. Okay. So, kapag mataas ang infection, yung WBC sa dugo, hindi ibig sabihin may appendicitis ka. Pwedeng meron ka pang kading ibang sakit. Kaya kunyari, ulcer, o kaya meron kang indigestion or infection na tumataas yung WBC sa dugo. Okay, another purpose, public health action. It provides the basis for identifying outbreaks and determine the extent of the disease and implementing appropriate control measures. So, pumapasok ngayon yung public health kung saan sila pwedeng kumilos. Okay, ano yung mga key epidemiologic criteria includes the person, place, time, and host. So, person, ibig sabihin, ano bang age niya? Ano bang age ang kaka-affect nito? Ano yung, meron ba itong sex? Anong prevalence ba to sa particular type of sex or gender? Uh, are there certain professions that are at higher risk? Anong trabaho nila? Ano yung socio-economic status? Sa mahirap ba to? Sa mga mayaman, yung madalas mag-travel? Or are there genetic factors that predispose individuals to the disease? So ito yung mga determinants of health, no? Person. Next is the place, geographical location. Saan bansa nakikita yung disease na to most frequently? Tapos paano ito nakapunta dito sa bansa natin? Ano yung climate na nag-influence? Mas marami bang nahawa pag malamig yung climate? O pag mainit ba yung climate, mas konti yung nahahawa? Or is the environment polluted or do they have adequate sanitation? So, yung place nagiging key criteria. Next is the time. Seasonal ba to? Does it occur more frequently during the winter or the summer? So, anong year? May mga seasonal na mga sakit. Kagaya ng flu. Meron din seasonal, sore eyes, o kaya chickenpox. Okay, meron bang prevalence yung secular trends? Has the prevalence of the disease changed over time? So, through time, parehas pa ba ang behavior niya o nag-iiba na siya? Meron bang mutation na nagaganap? Has the disease caused outbreaks or widespread epidemics in the past by history? No? Mamaya, pag-uusapan natin yung mga nangyari in the past, yung mga top 10 worst epidemics in the past. And then the host, ano yung immunity status niya? Meron ba siyang vaccination? Meron ba siyang previous infection? Ano yung susceptibility na host? And meron ba siyang certain behaviors na nagkakaroon siya ng risk for infection? Gaya ng smoking or unprotected sex behavior. Okay. So we will have another health break. Please be back.